Hey, what it do?
Ahoy!
What up?
Hey,
What's going
congratulations are in order.
on? Thanks.
Well, not to you.
Oh.
Dusty.
Why? What happened?
He's got a mustache.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
I like
didn't
it.
even realize that he was growing one.
Did he put it on the meads for peeps to see?
I don't know if he put it up. Someone tweeted me. The other day, I saw a thing where someone was trying to do the greatest mustaches of all time, and it's not even a competition. It's Sam Elliott, and everyone else is a paltry second place. And then someone tweeted out, and they're like, we have a new contender, and they sent me a photo of Dusty. I was like, I'll be damned, because he was growing that horrific Pedro Pascal beard that he grows. It's all patchy, and it's not a good look. But when you shave it all off, and the whole thing is Dusty has famously said he looks like a conquistador because he can never grow a mustache. Well, at 39 and a half years old, he hit puberty, apparently, and that's a real mustache.
I told him, far less conquistador than it used to be.
No, it looks like a real
something's
mustache.
changed here.
It's almost as if it's fake.
Yeah, I'm
Because
actually,
it came out of nowhere.
I'm actually wondering if maybe there's some shenanigans.
Is that enhanced?
That's what I'm wondering.
Is that an enhanced mustache?
Did you dye it? Did you, what's going on
Well,
there?
he did have a little bit of a beard going for a while.
Yeah, but the beard is still horrific. But the mustache looks good. He can't grow a beard for
Yeah,
anything.
but the thing is, you don't notice the mustache until you shave the beard.
Yeah, because you're focused on the bad beard, but when you eliminate the bad beard, the mustache looked pretty good. I thought he pulled it off. I was like, hey, man.
Yeah.
And we've long made fun of Dusty for not being able to grow facial hair, and I'm here to tell
It's
you,
good.
the little guy is grown up. Now, it took him 39 years, but he's got a mustache.
It's a really good stash.
Yeah, I felt good about it.
I hope that the fan tweets it out or something. I don't know. That's above my pay grade.
You can recall that we are now on YouTube, and so he was on there for 3 hours today. People are able to see that. You can also go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, find the content there, and you can see it in video.
Oh. So if you go to YouTube, you can go back and watch Dusty.
You can go back and watch all of our shows.
And I tweeted out, just if you go to Souk 1080, you can. I tweeted it.
There we go.
And
There we go.
It's a good look. And he
Good
still has,
little
he has a
mustache.
thick head of hair and the dark mustache. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little turned on right now. I like what Dusty has going on, and I hope he keeps it.
It's a nice stash because it's got the edges.
Yes.
That
turned up a little bit.
Yeah, that give it a little depth.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, look.
And it's
really
like
nice.
slightly bushy too. Like it's not just like
No, it's not a
there's not a thinness to it. It's like there's some heft.
Yeah, it's not a Nate McMillan, Vincent Price weird pedo stash. It's a good.
It's a solid mustache.
It's a solid mustache. When I see that, I don't think windowless van and child predator.
And it was sitting there above that beard the whole time, and we didn't
Yeah.
really even know it. And then just take the beard away, and boom.
I think more divorced dad Hawaii vacation.
It's totally a vacation stash.
Two short shorts, hitting on young girls at a bar sort of thing. And you know what? That's legit. I hope his wife, I think he said his wife hadn't seen it yet. And I hope she approves because I'd kind of like him to keep that around.
No, wait. You said you put it on your tweets?
Yes.
We sure about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Should be up.
I don't see it.
I just tweeted it.
All right. Well, I don't see it.
Sorry.
Well, Souk
There it
retweeted
is.
it from
Okay.
someone. There you go.
It
You got
popped up. Yeah,
Okay.
it popped up. I'm gonna. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on the fan Twitter because I'm a social media.
Yeah, guru now.
Yeah.
A titan of sorts.
You've come
What if-
back with,
now, how do I
with
do
force.
this? Let's see what I do here.
Hold down on the photos.
Oh,
How long will it take me to do
I think
this?
Mrs. Fan Man is messaging me right now.
How is it that she hasn't seen that?
She said way more time spent on the mustache than should have been allotted.
Wait, in our discussion or on his prep?
I'm not certain.
I think his prep.
It's probably the.
I think she's making fun of him.
Yes.
Yeah, I would
And
think
how
so.
has she not seen it?
It sounds like she has. Or
Well,
does she just know about what
And
happened?
who's Coach Caruso?
I don't know. Just someone that tweeted me and said, "Have you seen this?" And I have not. And by the way, she says all of it. So I think our discussion of it, his
Is she uncomfortable
his
right
ability
now?
to grow it, and she says no, she has not seen it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then how does she know he spent too much time on it?
Well, I think that the fact that he's been growing that beard.
Oh,
So,
got it. Okay. I see. I see. Okay, if you go to Souk's Twitter or 1080 The Fan, you can see Dusty's
Yeah, you see
new
it.
hot stash.
And like I said, I, for one, give it 2 thumbs up.
He does look Hispanic.
Well, he said he's got a Pedro Pascal thing, and by the way, that is very accurate, and I believe he's from Chile, or Chile, as Swag likes to say.
Yeah, right. South American, but yeah.
The Vancouver Ford text line going with the Ted Lasso mustache. I can see that too.
Yeah. Again, that is not a comical mustache. In the past, when Dusty has grown facial hair, look, it's a gag. Like, he's growing it, but
in the 70s, that would have been the look.
He's not serious about it. This is the first, and we've known Dusty now for, God, almost 20 years. This is the first serious facial hair that he's ever had. And
he couldn't do that when I first met him like 6 years ago.
No. And so I wanted to congratulate him on hitting puberty at 39 years old and having a mustache. That's a big day. It's a big day when you realize you can grow a mustache. Now, one day maybe the mustache will connect to the rest of his beard, and then you've got something.
Now I see here on your Twitter somebody put up something up that says who wore the mustache better. And it's got...
That was the Sam Elliott poll that he was referring to, where he said it's Sam Elliott and everybody else.
Yeah, it's got...
as far as Sue's concerned.
Okay, well, it's got Sam Elliott, Hulk Hogan, Geraldo Rivera, Tom Selleck, which that's tough
Selleck
to beat.
is really good.
Tough to beat. Nick Offerman, Don Fry.
That's a great
Who
mustache.
is Don Fry?
Don Fry is one of the baddest dudes to ever walk the planet. He's an old wrestler, MMA guy who's like 60 and still fighting, and is just a terrifying human being.
That looks like a sweet stash.
Yes.
We've got James Franco, which kind of looks like Dusty's Conquistador.
A little bit,
stash.
yes.
We've got Burt Reynolds.
Iconic.
And Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Mel's got like the weird the
That's from a movie though. Like what?
Yeah,
what
but
is that?
but he's actually he's kept that. Like he walked around with that.
He did.
Yeah, he's got like the flavor saver.
Yeah,
it's not good.
It's between Sam Elliott and Tom Selleck for me.
Yeah, but I mean,
and Hulk Hogan's is iconic.
There is no better mustache. I know Hogan's is iconic and so is Selleck, but if you're just going eliminate who they are and we're just going off of mustache, it's not even close. Sam Elliott has the greatest mustache of all time.
Well, I've never really seen, and this could work for him or against him, but looking at at least this photo that's on this one, I've never seen a mustache that almost envelops his entire chin.
No.
Like, I've never seen that.
It's amazing.
Usually, the mustache can envelop the top lip.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I haven't seen my top lip in years.
But I tell you what, you can barely see Sam Elliott's chin.
Yes.
From his stash.
I have...
and he has a long face.
I follow a Twitter account that is Sam Elliott's mustache. It has its own Twitter account. And it's just daily photos of different versions of Sam Elliott's mustache. And it's fantastic in every way. That's why I say, no offense, because I love Nick Offerman. Nick Offerman is a hero. I was going to say,
you know who's got a mean upstart mustache coming from behind?
What do we got?
Nobody's paying attention, catching points, but watch out.
Yeah.
Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
That thing is great.
Nick Offerman, I feel like, is kind of like the modern Tom Selleck.
Yeah, Nick Offerman is, if you don't know Nick Offerman, he's Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
But he doesn't always have it, though.
No, he changes. Sometimes he goes beard, sometimes he shaves
often
it off.
bearded.
But Nick Offerman's stash is amazing. But, I mean, it's like the LeBron to Sam Elliott's Jordan. I mean, maybe a modern era.
Beef Wellington.
And then you add that on top of it. And here's the thing. I don't think there's the mustache has become like 300 game winners. There's no one threatening anymore. What modern man is trying to even throw his mustache into the ring?
Don't you think that's really hard because all of the styles they've been out, like everybody's done every style really well.
Sure.
Like every style of mustache has been done magnificently, right?
Yes.
So I would think for one to even be noticed anymore, it would have to be a new style of mustache.
And that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe like the dunk contest. It's just it's all been done.
I don't know what it would be, but
well, I'm very proud. Like if I shaved my beard, I would have a mighty mustache. But again, I can't. I don't have it in me. I'm not mustache guy.
See, I would do it. My wife doesn't want to see my face, though. I don't think she's like, you keep the beard.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
ugly.
What
I know. Yeah, I get that, but I can rock a mean mustache.
My gal, when we first started dating, I had grown the big beard for COVID, and she asked me once. She goes, "What do you look like without facial hair?" And I was like, "Oh, it's been a long time since I haven't had any." And I showed her some young photos. She goes, "Yeah, but that was 15, 20 years ago." And she goes, "Would you shave for me?" I was like, "Sure." I was like, "It grows back. My beard grows fast." And we'd been together for maybe, I don't know, 5-6 months, something like that. And I shaved my beard, and I came walking out of the bathroom, and she just looks at me and goes, "Grow it back." I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, if I go too tight with the trim, she'll say, I think you should grow it out.
I was like, shots fired.
Yeah.
Shots fired. And I was like, it was your idea, genius. She's like, yeah, well, I was wrong. Please.
I liked you better the way you were before. Don't change.
Please grow it back.
I'll tell you what, Tom Selleck's is still looking great.
His is immaculate. He might be my number one there.
Great.
I'm with you. He might be my number one.
And not because
too.
I don't like Sam's, but just
By
from
the
a
way,
classic standpoint.
Let's go with so Rick Nolan. Rick
Yeah.
Nolan.
Yeah.
He just texted me and he reminded me of this guy. We're big golf fans, and there's a guy.
Going the Walrus?
No.
Oh.
No. There is a guy who used to play on tour who's now on the Golf Channel.
Mm-hmm.
His mustache is great. His name is Johnson Wagner.
Johnson Wagner.
I
Yes.
thought you were going to say David Faraday.
Well, no,
He has
I've
kind of a unique mustache, doesn't he? Kind of a pirate thing going on.
Well, he's got kind of the goatee, but he
Oh,
went
see,
to
he's-
live.
Yeah, he's got the he's same thing. He's got the little
Yeah.
turn-ups.
Yeah, but it's full
It's a good mustache.
and dark. Like that's a really good. mustache.
Oh, okay.
That's like a Peaky Blinders
Yeah.
sort of mustache.
What do you think about
Johnson
that?
Wagner's
I like it.
solid. He's got the caterpillar.
I like
Yeah.
it. Now it's not as look, I'm not trying to it's just it doesn't have the thickness and the robustness that I need in my mustache, but it's a great stash. But the key to me to being able to grow a truly great mustache is it's got to be thick. There's got to be substance to it. Because there's a difference between
You don't
having
think that's thick?
it's nice, but it doesn't provide the coverage that I like out of a top A+ mustache.
I mean, at certain stages of it, it doesn't. But I tell you, he's had it really thick at times, and it is.
well, that is
it's a
true.
contender.
Because I see him here in this other photo.
That thing is full.
Again, I apologize. Like as I've scrolled down, there's photos of him playing versus him doing commentary. The commentary is a much better mustache than when he played.
Yeah, he's worked on it.
If he threw like a Marlboro hat on that thing, that would be great.
I think he dyes it.
Well,
Does he dye that?
Can I need a mustache ruling. The only, because I very much like my mustache, but the one part about it that bothers me, and I have said I will never dye my hair under any circumstances.
You don't have any hair.
I have a white streak right in the middle of my mustache.
I see that.
Got the Jay Leno thing going on.
And I can't tell you how many times someone's like, "Hey, you got a little something." Like, yeah, it's being old.
It's called hair.
I've got the tips of my beard, the jowls are white, but I have one strip.
Can't you trim that?
I can,
Trim that out.
But it's like it's not one hair. It's a group of white hairs, and it's a little weird. And then there's, because if I start plucking, then it kind of it's just strange. So
But it's right in the middle, so it could be confused for, like, you know how the dimple thing.
yeah.
You could maybe get away with that.
It's just,
I don't know.
It's a very strange
I've never
thing.
noticed it until you pointed it
Yeah,
out.
there is I have like a racing stripe in the middle of my mustache.
You know, here's another fun fact about Dusty's mustache.
Yeah.
He has one white hair coming out of it.
Does he?
One. It's not as prominent as your old man hair
Yeah.
there, but boy,
It happens, man.
he's got a straggler in there, and it's great.
But
right on the right side.
under no circumstances, in my opinion, can you dye your beard or mustache.
No,
You just,
it looks silly.
yeah. You just got to let it go.
Yeah. All right. A hot mustache talk. Did you have that on your bingo card? I bet you did. I bet you did.
Catalonian beef ragu, beef brisket, beef bourguignon, Chateaubriand.
God,
Oh my God.
I love Sam
Doesn't he
Elliott.
live in Oregon?
That's the rumor.
Well, he's from here. He went to David Douglas High School.
Doesn't he live in Central Oregon?
I don't know where he resides currently.
There's a rumor of that, but I've
I think he lives in Central Oregon, guys.
well, if he does, then I'm ready to stalk him, because me and Sam Elliott should hang out and have beef together.
Beef jerky, spicy braised beef, beef with broccoli, beef tacos, beef fajita, beef burritos, beef Wellington,
One more golf
God, I wanna
mustache.
have-
Mongolian beef.
Have you seen Eric Van Rooyen or Eric Van Rooyen, whatever his name is?
On my
He's
way.
on PGA Tour. He's been winning, or he's been playing well recently, so his mustache has been in the news. Look at that thing.
Let me see what we got going. Ooh, yeah. See, now
Yeah.
that,
There's another golf
no
mustache.
offense to who was the other guy that you just, the other
Johnson
guy-
Wagner.
Johnson Wagner. No offense, but I'm sorry, but
You like this better.
The Van Rooyen is a much better stash.
Okay.
It's got better coverage. It's
wide.
It's wider.
And he's had handlebars on it.
Yeah,
in the past.
See, now that's a mustache I can set my watch to. I like where that's going.
All right. Well,
Now I kind of want to just shave my beard and just have the stash.
well, you don't upstage Dusty.
That's true.
Come on,
Let
man.
him have it.
Don't one up.
No,
We don't need to one up here.
that's fair.
Let's let him have
Next
a couple.
week you can do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so let him have a couple days, and maybe on Monday you
I
can
love it.
show up and
I'm just proud. I'm proud that
Overshadow
our
it.
little Dusty Bottoms is all grown up, and he's got a man stash, and I love it. And I hope Mrs. Fan Man out there appreciates it, even though it doesn't sound like she does.
All right. Well, I've got to call you out on something.
Who, me?
Yep.
Oh, what happened?
Well, we'll do that next. Though.
All right.
We've run out of time here.
Okay.
Mustache Talk stole the show.
Happens.
And then we've got our poll question pertaining to boxing.
Let's go.
Fight news. That's next on The Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
about Sam Elliott, our friend, dear friend. They are saying that he still has a place. Well, they live. Oh my God,
You're doing great.
him and his wife have a ranch in Malibu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a seaside ranch in Malibu.
Makes sense.
They bought that in the 70s, but he also has a property in the Willamette Valley. Our listener's saying that's near Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
And when his mom died in 2012, he took ownership of his childhood home, which is in northeast Portland.
Ah.
So,
Yeah, but he's not hanging out here.
very, I'm stuck again. God. He's an Oregonian, kind of.
Kind of. My guess is he doesn't spend a lot of time here. So.
No, but I think that last time we talked about this, somebody said they saw him at like a Fred Meyer's or
Yeah,
something.
but again, that's like seeing Bigfoot. You know how many times I've heard the urban legend of, and they always see him at a store or whatever, and I'm like, no, you didn't. Prove it. Photos or it didn't happen, damn it.
Look at you, just accusing them of lying.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like, it's like, oh, I think I saw Sam Elliott. Did you? Did you meet Sam Elliott? Did you have beef Wellington with him?
Well, let's do a little quick primetime rewind, and then we'll get to today's poll question, okay?
Okay.
I would like to rewind to last night's end of program, end of podcast broadcast.
Sure. By the way, I thought the Big 12 was supposed to be good at basketball.
It is. Best league in the country.
Too bad BYU's bitch slapping Iowa State, number 6 in the country.
Dude,
Your Cougs ain't messing around.
Bitch slapping Baylor, Kansas, at Kansas, and now Iowa State.
You just jinxed it. I bet you lose by 17. If you don't know, they lost.
They lost.
You fool.
Yeah.
Halftime trash talk.
Got a little cocky.
Who are you,
Got
Dirt
a little-
Johnson?
Got a little cocky. Hey, they didn't lose by 17. They lost
No.
by like 4 or 5.
They only lost by 5. I think it was 68-63. So that's a win for you.
I will say that when I got home, right, and I was flipping around and I saw the end of that, I literally had that thought of, God, I hope Rob's not watching this because he's...
Oh, I was watching.
Yeah, I saw it was close. I flipped it over, and oh boy, those were two of the worst possessions I've ever seen to end the game by your Cougs.
Well, you know.
Pass the ball. Bunch of selfish bastards.
Well, the big Egyptian guy we have, that's all he does. He's like one of the best passing big men in the game.
The other dude needed a 3, and he shot one with like 6 seconds left and banked it off the backboard alone. No iron.
Well, you know.
I tried everything. We played 4 white guys and an Egyptian.
So that's the key.
Tried everything.
We got a black guy. We need to just implement the full on Rick Pitino. But we're only doing like 3. Well, I guess it'd be 4/5 of Pitino. We got the white guys. We got the Egyptian. But you know.
Well, their loss can be blamed on one person only, and it's not the black guy. Okay?
No. That's
It's
me.
you.
Yeah, I will admit that was poor form. But we were leaving. You know that.
Yeah, you were feeling it.
They were up by 10.
Yeah, you were feeling
They're
good.
Slapping around Iowa State.
Iowa State, by the way, ranked number 6 in the country.
So
They're good.
Well, they took down BYU, beat Baylor, and they were like 11. Because BYU started out the year really good, and then they got exposed, and they were getting drilled. But then they beat number 11 Baylor, and then they beat Kansas when Kansas was Kansas top 10?
They were
right around there?
7.
7. And then you're going into number 6 Iowa State? I'm like, you got to be kidding. What? BYU football, who cares? We're a basketball school now. We're a powerhouse.
You guys also beat San Diego State, and they're pretty good this year. But I'm looking here though. You guys lost to Oklahoma State, and they suck.
Yeah, I know they do.
Kansas State sucks. You lost to them too.
Yeah, we lost to Kansas State after we beat Kansas. Or
Yeah,
may have
right
been
before.
right before.
Yeah, right before.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Well, you can't win them all, but hey, the Cougs they're good this year.
They're all right.
Yeah,
All right.
they probably won't go anywhere, but
Well, they'll be a first round, and they'll get a decent seed, and then they'll get beat by, I don't know. There'll be some athletic team
Northern
from
Iowa.
There'll be some athletic team from the Sun Belt Conference that'll kick their ass.
That's exactly right. They will be paired up against some team with 5 dudes who've been playing together for 4 years.
Run them out of the
and
gym.
they're fast.
Yep.
And they just run circles around your slow white boys.
Yeah. They need what needs to happen is the Indiana State, the Sycamores with the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that weird white guy. We need to play him in the tournament. And we can have our awkward Egyptian play their awkward Where's Waldo white guy. That's the matchup that we need.
Someone in on the Vancouver Ford text line, and I'm sure you will scoff at this, but Sam Elliott, known to hand out candy on Halloween from his mom's house in Northeast Portland.
See, now that's kick-ass. I need someone to confirm that.
Are you scoffing at that?
No, I need proof. These are all
there are
urban
some
legends.
people who are going to look at this and scoff.
And by the way, if that's the case, I'm going to need to steal someone's kid and go trick-or-treating because Sam Elliott it's like, he's not top 3 for me, but Sam Elliott's in my top probably 6 or 7 of celebrities that I need to hang out with. Like, I love Sam Elliott. I mean, he was in The Big Lebowski and Roadhouse, for God's sake.
He's great.
And my dad, like, when we were growing up, we used to watch these old Westerns like the Sackics, and Sam Elliott was in a lot of these. And I've always loved not Tom Selleck, but Sam Elliott. And so just the idea that he could live in my hometown, let's go. Come on, let's make it happen.
I've heard 3 interviews with Sam Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
I would describe him in 3 ways. This is just the vibe I get.
Yeah.
Bristly,
I can see that.
private, and serious.
Yeah.
In the interviews that I've heard with him, he wants nothing to do with you.
No.
And your shenanigans. He's an interesting dude.
Yeah.
Very thoughtful, very smart, but I'm not sure you two would jive.
Well, I'd still like to give it a whirl. Yeah. And maybe if he's handing out Halloween candy, I can just show up with someone's random kid and be like, hey,
how cool would that be, though? You just open the door, or they open the door, and your little kid standing there in his little stupid Star Wars outfit or whatever, and it's Sam Elliott handing him a little Butterfinger. God.
You're freaking awesome. It's like time that my daughter became friends with Carl Weathers, and I still never got to meet him. Bunch of people out there hanging out with Sam Elliott, not me.
All right, here is poll question at 1080 The Fan on X, brought to you by AAA Heating and Cooling Family Business, helping families for over 60 years, AAAIAQ.com. Yesterday, very controversial poll question. Got the people talking.
Yeah.
Should Clyde Drexler have a statue in Portland?
Yeah, because his kid is upset that he doesn't.
The answer, overwhelmingly no from our listeners.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
68% said no.
Yeah.
32% yes. Today's poll question, it's up there now. Vote hard. Reserve your commentary, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Jake Paul will box Mike Tyson live on Netflix.
Yep.
What say you? 3 options. Dope. All about it. Joke, but I'll watch. Idiocracy. I'm out. We'll be back to talk about that. Here's Buck with SportsCenter.
What was it, 49?
Yes.
Yeah, 49. Not 50.
Well, the Beavers did not lose to Colorado by 49 today. They beat them in overtime.
That's right.
Great game.
Double overtime.
He just pointed out that, and this pertains to nothing, but it's just, we got to mention, the 8-9 matchup in the West Coast tournament, this is men's basketball.
Yeah.
The 8-9 matchup, the 8 seed is Pepperdine, the 9 seed is Pacific.
Toss out the records when those two Titans get together.
Well, I think Pacific fired its coach. If I'm not mistaken, I think they didn't win a game in that whole league, and they fired their coach. So I think they're coachless.
Okay. So there's just no interim, no nothing. I love it. They're just, you know what,
coachless.
guys? You figure it out.
It is halftime.
Mm-hmm.
The score is Pepperdine 58,
Robust.
Pacific 9.
How do you score 9.5 points? And you are correct. I looked up. Pacific is 0-16, 6-25 overall, and they have lost 16 in a row. Who did Pacific beat?
Okay, which is worse? Oregon State women scoring 11.5 and losing by 49,
Oregon
or Pacific? Oregon women. Or Pacific scoring 9.5 and being down 49 at the half.
I kind of feel like the Pacific one's
It's
worse.
not even close.
Yeah. How do you score 9 points? Like
The single digits makes it so much uglier than double digits, too.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. 11's bad, but at least
It's not 9 bad.
It's not 9 bad. You're
That
right.
is crazy.
And I'm looking here at some of their losses, and I mean, they're bad, but they're not all. Like, they lost to Portland.
Well,
60.
give me the Gonzaga and the St. Mary's scores. That's all I care about.
Oh, okay, let me
That
scroll.
is 7 and 9.
I stand corrected.
Gonzaga beat them by 30, didn't they?
I
Jeff
stand
Fisher, great mustache.
I stand corrected because I was looking at just some of the, like Portland, beat them by 5. Pepperdine beat them by 15. St. Mary's did beat them 76-28.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What about Gonzaga?
Well, the Gonzaga one's respectable, 73-82. And then this one, St. Mary's, I believe, is their kryptonite because they also beat them 84-43.
Jeez.
That's not good. And then Gonzaga beat them 102-76, but that's an offensive explosion at 76. I think you take that all day, right? I mean, that's not a bad loss considering what else is out
Wasn't
there.
that where Damon Stoudemire was?
Yeah, I think he was at
He
Pacific.
coached there?
Yeah, he coached there. Nevada beat him by 50. There's definitely some bad losses in here, but there's some respectable ones. Northern Arizona only lost by 20. Idaho only by 30. They lost to 30 or lost to Idaho by 30.
Yeah, Stoudemire was at Pacific. He went 23-10 in 2019-2020.
Then he's like John Wooden, apparently. If you're leading that to a winning record. Pretty good.
Okay, Jake Paul will box Mike Tyson live on Netflix. I wish I was joking, but I'm not.
No, that's real.
That's real. They signed that today, or at least announced it today.
Yeah.
So it's going to be streaming on Netflix July 20th. They're fighting in Dallas. The poll question today on X at 1080 The Fan. What say you? Dope, all about it. Joke, but I'll watch. Or Idiocracy, I'm out.
I'm out.
You're out?
I'm out. I can't. It's just, I like boxing. I like fighting too much, and this is a travesty. And Jake Paul, fine, whatever. He's making some money, but like I heard today, people were saying he's the biggest name in boxing. Oh my God, no, he's not. And his fights don't sell.
Who is the biggest name in boxing?
Probably Canelo right now is probably the biggest name. I mean, Tyson Fury still commands. I mean, there's something about the heavyweights that will always bring in the audience. But Tyson Fury is true greatness. Although the last one against Francis Ngannou kind of hurt his legacy a bit. But Terrence Crawford is probably the best pound for pound fighter in the world, but he doesn't have the drawing power that Canelo does. So, this idea that Jake Paul is anything other than an athletic kid that's put a lot of effort into this and is fighting washed up non-boxers, and it's an embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment to the sport, and people are not watching. He makes up the figures. The people say that behind the scenes, all those numbers are absolutely horse crap. No one's buying his pay-per-views. And this is by far his biggest get because Mike Tyson will draw some eyeballs, and it's not pay-per-view. It's on Netflix, so everyone has Netflix or an access to a Netflix account, and people will tune into this. But he's going to be 58 years old when they fight. Like,
not Jake Paul.
no, not Jake Paul.
Mike Tyson.
Jake Paul's 20-something.
So Tyson hasn't fought professionally in 20 years.
No. Well, he fought Roy Jones in that stupid exhibition.
Yeah, but that wasn't professional.
No, and it was sad too. Roy looked terrible.
Tell you
Mike
what.
didn't look good, but he looked better than Roy.
I'm going to vote Idiocracy, and I'm out as well.
Yeah.
However,
If you got nothing else going on.
no, look, on the surface, it's dumb, and it makes a mockery of the sweet science.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
You've got a YouTuber who is fighting a boxer 30 years his elder, and the boxer hasn't fought professionally in 20 years.
Yeah.
The however part is that boxer is Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And the YouTuber is a guy we all want to see get his nose knocked into his face.
Yep. The thing that Jake Paul does better than anyone is the Floyd Mayweather thing, where he makes you want to see him get hurt, and so people will tune in.
So for that reason, this kind of works in a way.
Yeah,
I think it's going to do well for Netflix.
it's the best thing that he has done, and by he I mean Jake Paul. But
I saw where he's only fought 10 times.
Well, and it's pathetic. And the
9-1.
one time that he fought an actual boxer, and that's even dicey, he fought Tommy Fury, who's Tyson Fury's brother, who's again a reality star, but at least grew up in a boxing family. And Tommy Fury kind of picked him apart. Like, Jake Paul can't box, and this is Jake Paul is a good athlete. One, he's roided to the gills, but he's a good, big, athletic kid that has put a lot of time and effort and has become a very decent amateur fighter. But if he were to fight anyone, if he were to fight any real boxer, he would get annihilated. He got beat up decently by Tommy Fury, who's not even a real boxer. And so, like, he calls out Canelo and he calls out these guys, and you know, I don't know. Like, in my mind, I would think that Mike Tyson at 58 years old is still going to annihilate him.
That's the intrigue of it.
But I don't know, because he's
is
58.
Well, I know, but that's the intrigue of it.
But that's what's going to... People are going to watch because they're going to wonder
Yes.
if a 58-year-old Mike Tyson could still whoop his ass because it feels like he should be able to.
Yes, that is exactly right. Everybody thinks Mike Tyson is going to absolutely pummel this guy, and it's going to be great if he does.
Or is, you know, he going to do the Paul going to do the Mayweather thing and try to play defense, and make Tyson run around.
This is the problem. When Floyd Mayweather fought Paul's brother, he carried him. He didn't try to knock him out. The one time he did hit him and he was going down, he held him up. These are exhibition fights, and there's rumors of people taking dives and having agreements not to go at him. I mean,
yeah, a lot of people think it'll just be fixed,
you know,
for TV.
And Tyson and Paul, I guess, are friendly to each other, and so, you know, this may be one of those don't embarrass me sort of things. It's not a real fight.
And this guy on the text line says, no offense, Suk, but as a non-boxing fan, I think way more non-boxing fans know Jake Paul more than any real boxer.
But that's fine, but you're still not paying to watch him fight. Like, he claims, in the company that he works for claims that they do all these numbers, but anyone that's actually involved in the sport will tell you that it's an absolute...
Nobody's watching.
No one's watching. It's a load of crap.
Well, I've never seen him fight, but I will say I think that guy's right. Because I was sitting there today, I saw this, I'm like, oh my God, what a joke. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. I actually don't mind it. And then I started to go through my head of like, because I like boxing, or at least I used to. And after Mayweather, I'm like going through boxers that I even know. And there's just Fury, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know any. Where are all the boxers? What has happened to boxing?
Well, the problem is that, again, being on pay-per-view and not getting the matchups that you want has really hurt it. And, you know, we like, at least in the UFC, you get the best of the best. Right? You get those fights, but very rarely anymore in boxing do we get the true greats going at each other. The best example that I can come up with this is we had two of the greats to ever do it, and that was Floyd and Manny, right? And they didn't fight each other until they were both extremely over the hill. And that's a shame, because in the world of mixed martial arts, those guys would have fought 3 times while they were still in their prime. Boxing has been the biggest enemy to itself, and it's hard to find now. and it doesn't do a good job of building stars, and it's all on pay-per-view if you want to see the big ones. And so that is that is a shame, because the Spence Juniors and the Terrence Crawford, these guys are all-time talents, and you're right that outside of boxing circles they're not household names.
No.
So I'm not doubting that the average dude out there knows Jake Paul and doesn't know other boxers, but the idea that Jake Paul is drawing big numbers and drawing millions of people to his pay-per-views, it's just not true. He's a joke. He's a spectacle. And it's a shame too, because he's put in a lot of effort. When you watch him fight, he's not terrible. He beat up the vast majority of just random schmucks that he gets in the ring with. Again, old aging MMA guys and YouTubers. But if you put him in against even a top 100 light heavyweight boxer of his age, he'd get slept in 3 seconds. And so I guess maybe that's the intrigue, is, can a 58-year-old Mike Tyson sleep him?
That is the intrigue. Not only that, but Mike Tyson is just intriguing.
Yes.
He just, people, he gets eyeballs.
Yeah.
Well, another fan personality has taken Joe Fisher out of the headlines for his 40-time proclamation. We've got another guy.
It's even dumber.
Oh, really?
By leaps.
You think this is dumber than Fisher?
Leaps and bounds.
I do.
Like,
Certainly.
not even.
Okay.
It's beyond ridiculous.
Well, we have the audio because it appeared here on The Fan. Next on The Fan.
The Fan is
Long live the fan personality bravado. We've got another one. So Will Ortner was on the morning show today. The great Will Ortner.
Mm-hmm.
Younger, better-looking version of Sakanik. And he is still young and full of tea.
Yeah, you were saying this the other day.
I was. He was due. Ortner was due for one of these.
Yeah.
And we had Darkin say that he could wrestle a hippo. Swag said he could
squat 300 pounds.
Squat 300. Fisher thinks he can run a 5.27 40, which to me is the least egregious of those claims.
It really is true.
And now we throw this one in here. So Ortner, I'll just play this. This was on Dirt and Sprague show. He was filling in. Of course, the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul announcement came out, and they were talking about it.
Exhibition fight, whatever the hell you call that
And
thing.
here's what he said.
I do think that I could take a punch from Mike Tyson. I think this is a perfect move by Jake Paul, and I think he'll dominate. What?
No, you can't drop that in there.
What are you talking about?
You
He's
can't.
57.
Have you seen him?
Yeah.
No, have you seen like he's done some speed bag stuff and he's put it on his socials?
I'm not saying I could beat him in a boxing match.
I know you're
Far
not,
from that.
but you could take a punch. He could punch you in the face as hard as he wants one time, and you're gonna hurt, but you're gonna not be knocked out.
Yeah.
Wow.
I might be like concussed. I'll be okay. I think I beat a 10 count.
Will, this is, and I'm not questioning you. This is I'm giving that guy more credit thing. This is, to me, the equivalent of Joe Fisher. I could easily run a sub 5.27 for him.
And here's the thing.
And maybe you can.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you. It is stupid.
I don't listening to Ortner's voice on that clip, I don't even think he believes
I don't think he believes it either.
Well, he can't. Like this, I put this. It's got to be the same thing as Darkins. There's no way Darkins believes that he can beat a hippo.
I don't know about that.
If he does, that's the dumbest thing that's
He
ever
thinks
been.
he could run in circles long enough to tire it out. I don't think he thinks he could beat it.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But besides the hippo thing, the Will Ortner thinking that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I feel like as soon as he said it, he wished he hadn't,
Yeah.
and then he was like,
100%.
He was
Again,
kind
he's-
of
he
getting.
admits he's never been in a fight. He's never been punched, and he thinks that he's going to take one on the chin
From Mike
from
Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
And have you seen those videos recently?
Yeah, Tyson's all ripped.
I mean,
Well, he's
I
all,
don't care
I'm
how
sure
old
he's
he
on
is.
all kinds of TRT and whatnot.
Well,
but
so
But I
what?
hear
He's
the
ripped.
sound when
Yeah.
the glove hits the mitt,
And
and
by
it's
the way-
terrifying.
By the way, Mike Tyson knows how to throw a punch.
this is and this is what I'm saying. First off, the older you get, the last thing to go is your punching power. Say this all the time. When guys like Foreman and Holyfield get in there and they fought when they're in their 40s or 50s, that's what they said. They're shells of their former self, but the last thing to go is your power, right? You got that old man strength. And Tyson at 57 on whatever chemicals he's on, when you watch him, he still looks pretty good. He can still move. And you said it, he knows how to punch. And if you've ever been, and like I said, I don't claim to be any sort of expert, but like I go to a boxing gym, I spar. I've sparred with guys that I guess are technically professional fighters, guys trying to move up and actually do something. And this is with large training gloves and headgear. And I'm telling you, when one of those guys at 200 pounds clips you, you get your ass sat down. And it isn't one of those where you're like, oh, no, you're done. You sit down. It's why I don't do it much anymore, because getting hit sucks. You have no idea what it's like to get hit by someone that knows how to throw a punch. And you're not talking about some dude down at McConnell's boxing gym in Portland. You're talking about one of the great punchers of all time. And you, who have never been hit in your life, think that you are going to take one on the button
From one of the most ferocious punchers in the history of the world.
and you think you're going to beat a 10 count? You're lucky if your jaw doesn't get shattered in 5 places. This is again coming from someone that's never been punched ever. It's just stupid. It's just absolutely absurd that now, if you're going to say like, I don't know, like a jab from Tyson, sure. But Tyson hitting you with a hook, and by the way, he was one of the guys that could knock you out with either hand. If you got hit with a hook or an uppercut from Mike Tyson at 57 or 58 years old, it wouldn't matter. Your eyes would go in the back of the head and you would crumple. You would fold like a pair of twos. So
Who do you think's next in line? I feel like
for one of these
yeah,
grandioso sort of schemes,
I feel like Schultze is due for one of these.
I guess. I mean, it's
Like Schultze's going to claim he can hit a home run off of Garrett Cole or something.
Yeah, I don't.
and say, like if I just caught one, I just have to throw the bat at it. And
I could get a piece of 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I could foul one off.
The only thing is, I think Schulte's been beaten down enough by life where I don't think his is going to be any sort of athletic take. But
yeah.
This goes back to what I said yesterday. All these people that don't run, that don't lift, that don't fight, that somehow think they can run, lift, and fight. It's just,
I don't know.
It's absurd.
I always feel like, and this is not a knock to these guys. It isn't. They're young.
Yeah.
But I always feel like the people who make these types of claims they just haven't lived enough of life yet.
Yeah, they've never been hit.
or just been around like high level athlete. Like, I don't know, the lack of respect. By the way, this is ageism from Ortner.
Yeah.
The first thing he said was, he's 57 years old.
Yeah.
Screw you, Ortner. Yeah, that's old, but that guy could kick your ass. One punch and you're down.
Yes.
It's ageism. Get out of here, Ortner. But I just mean those guys they're just young and they just need to be around, jump in a ring, live a little, get in a fight.
Well, like
maybe a knife fight, or in the talking about Joe Fisher. Just if you live enough, you get into enough. I don't know what, like golf tournaments with professional athletes, or around enough professional athletes, you just learn that you're not like them.
No, I always joke that we all think we're sharks, right?
Everyone does.
Everyone thinks they're a shark.
Every male does until he realizes that he isn't.
And the problem is that you're swimming in a bathtub. You're a goldfish, and then you keep moving up to bigger. You move from a goldfish tank into a bathtub, into a pond, into a river, and even the ones that keep progressing, eventually you find yourself in the open ocean. And then you encounter actual sharks. And even those guys, occasionally, like I made it to the NFL, right? I was somewhat successful. And so at that point, yeah, you're a little bravado. And then you realize, oh, I'm in the ocean now. I may be a shark, but guess what I am? I'm like a nurse shark. There's great whites. And then occasionally you meet a great white, and guess what you find out? There's also orcas and killer whales that hunt the great whites.
Look, dude.
And you get humbled so fast. And you're right. These people just need to get out of the goldfish bowl.
Well, I didn't need to get out of the goldfish bowl to understand that there were great whites, okay? But I think it just comes with a little bit of age, a little bit of seasoning. You live a little and you realize, okay. Mike Tyson would floor me.
See, he needs to go to a boxing gym or an MMA gym and watch someone that knows what they're doing just hit the heavy bag. When you sit there and watch someone that's good, and again, I've never been around, that's not true. In college, I was around like Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn and guys that were actually world-class fighters. When you watch one of those guys spar or even hit a heavy bag, I am telling you, up close and personal, there is nothing quite like watching them hit something and you realize, oh my God, that is a human being hitting something like that. And you just picture yourself like getting hit like that, and it will change your entire mind. If he actually sat there and watched Tyson hit a heavy bag or hit the pads.
No, I think he needs to fight him. He's next on Tyson's card.
Well,
after Jake Paul.
It's just, yeah.
That's good stuff.
Oh, bravado.
Hey, never change, any of you.
Yeah, keep it.
What?
Keep doing it.
Never change, any of you.
Yeah.
I love this radio station.
Or just be around scary individuals and you'll figure it out real fast.
All right. Coming up next, we have the fight deets, speaking of fights, between Isaiah Stewart and Drew Eubanks.
Yeah. The what were we calling Eubanks? He was the God, I
like that we were calling Stewart Beef Stew.
Yeah, he was Beef Stew, but Eubanks, it was Beef Stew, and I can't remember what we were calling Eubanks. God, where's he? He was like the something shack. I feel bad that I couldn't.
I got nothing.
I couldn't pull his I
don't know where you're going with that, but we'll get to that next. It's 4:00 on the Fan.
Arizona continues to make
All right, welcome back. Hey, I want to let you know that we're going to be out and about again later this month, out in the wild.
Yep.
Sometimes they let us out of here. And Fan Madness is back, presented by Warren Allen Attorneys at Law. We're going to be out at Stadium Sports Bar at A&A.
Not 1, but 2 days.
Yep, Thursday and Friday, March 21 and 22. Now, did they push back the NCAA tournament? Because the first round, I always thought,
I don't know.
I think it's just a strange year where, you know how like dates get shifted on the calendar and stuff? I think it just happens as late as it can happen this year.
Yeah, because doesn't that seem late for first and second round games?
It often lands like right on St. Patty's Day, which is Sunday. This year is on Sunday. So I think
a week out, maybe. Yeah.
So it's like just the way the calendar shifts,
okay.
I think.
Thursday, Friday, March 21 and 22, we'll be out at A&A with live shows, Danny and Dusty, our show. George McCoy at Warren Allen Attorneys at Law. Injuries and missing work ruining your day?
Yes.
Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com. He'll make them pay.
Can I sue for just being old and brittle? How does that work? I sue for my black eye.
Sue for whatever you want, can't you?
Broken nose.
Don't they have to, like...
Just gonna start suing people.
Yeah, just file... Don't you have to... I mean, if you file, don't they have to, like, look through it?
I don't know.
Doesn't a judge have to be like, all right.
I just start suing every one of my training partners that hurts me. My gym, I'm just going to have a bevy of lawsuits. I'm sure I'll be real popular there. Let's do it.
I'm going to sue Will Ortner for his ego.
That really is an astounding display of stupidity.
By the way, quick sports note.
Yeah.
Since we're following so closely, I tell you what, the upstart Pacific men's basketball team, who is 0-16 in the West Coast Conference.
We making a comeback?
Well, they were down 56-9 at half.
That hurts a little bit.
Although I thought it was 58-9, but now it says 56-9. It is 82-26. So they've only lost the second half by 3 points.
Nice.
Yep.
So this is I consider this a win.
They're only down by 56.
When you're up by that much, who played? Is that the 4 white guys in an Egyptian lineup at that point? Do you let the
Well, if I'm the coach, I leave my starters out there to get embarrassed. That's my message to the team.
They do that sometimes with goalies, and it like turns out to be a really ugly thing. Like, so every now and then in hockey, a coach will make a point and leave his goalie out there after he's given up like 6 goals, and it usually turns into some sort of fracas on the bench.
Or the MLB manager who leaves a reliever out there to get absolutely shelled and see his ERA go through the roof.
I think that happened at the end of Patrick Waugh's career, and I think like he wanted to fight the coach. It was not pretty.
Yeah, so you were thinking Drew Eubanks, the Shack of Troutdale?
Shack of Troutdale. Like I remember Beef Stew, and I was like, what was Eubanks? And I was like right there, and I just couldn't pull it. Yeah, it was Beef Stew versus the Shack of Troutdale.
Well, we have now a little information on what happened between him and Beef Stew.
Yeah, if you don't remember, Beef Stew apparently punched him in the face before a game, back in the tunnel.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah. And he was arrested, but no charges or anything.
Like straight off the bus, all high tea.
Yeah.
Although Isaiah Stewart, they say, is not a man to be messed with.
No, and he was the guy that freaked out and went after LeBron, and like LeBron wanted nothing to do with him. I always say like on every team, there's always 1 or 2 guys that even like the bigger, tougher guys don't want anything to do with, and apparently Beef Stew is that guy. Like no one wants any Beef Stew rub.
Except for Drew Eubanks. He wants a little of that smoke. He
wants that smoke. So Oregon State, UW, let's go.
It sounds like he has a pretty mean right hand, Beef Stew. According to Drew Eubanks, this is from the police report, his Valentine's Day fight with the Detroit player left him with bloody gums and loose teeth.
Yeah.
According to a Phoenix Police Department incident report, Eubanks made the complaint roughly 5 hours after he and Stewart were involved in an altercation at the Footprint Center just prior to the Pistons Suns. Did you know it's called the Footprint Center?
I did not.
Are we going to have to look up?
That's a little strange.
Footprint?
Well,
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Some printing company?
Yeah, something. That's strange.
Footprint.
We'll look it up.
Eubanks, cops wrote in the report, said Stewart confronted him while he was entering the arena due to interactions the two had previously had while playing in a game 3 months prior.
So Beef Stew holds a grudge. He's got that hockey mentality. You take a number.
Eubanks told the cops, quote, he got off the bus and he started just talking S. He said something along the lines of, you want to run it back? We're right here. We can do it right now. Damn. Mm-hmm. Cops say Eubanks told them he tried to walk away from the situation, but Stewart kept advancing toward him until they were face-to-face inside of a tunnel in the arena. Eubanks told cops, according to the report, Isaiah then said, we can do this S right now, before he sucker punched him.
Yeah, so hey, was it a sucker punch? Like this is my thing with Eubanks. You got a beef with him, or he has a beef with you. Clearly, there's confrontation there. You got to be aware of your surroundings. You got to know. You can't turn your back on beef stew. At that point, even if you're walking away, you got to keep an eye on him. You got to be ready.
Well, they were face to face though.
Because clearly that's not a sucker punch.
Right.
That's not a sucker punch.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Like
that's not a sucker.
That's not a sucker punch. A sucker punch is like from behind or to the side. If you're face to face with someone and that person is like, "Hey, we can do it right now," your ass better be prepared for those hands to fly. It's not a sucker punch.
Yeah. Okay. So wait. Here's my question about this. If you're the Shaq of Troutdale,
yeah.
So you're, I mean, you've got some size.
He's rugged, yeah.
I guess.
Hey,
but he wants no part of Isaiah Stewart.
And that was pretty clear from the
Yeah. Well, how do you handle that? Stewart's coming at you.
Yeah.
In the tunnel.
You got to have friends there to break it up.
What do you do?
Because
you can't see. I get where Eubanks is coming from. You kind of gotta face to face him because you can't be a little bitch.
Nope.
But at the same time, you got to be prepared for hands to fly.
Here's my thing. This is my patented Sukanic strategy, and I've used it several times. As someone that did not have a problem fighting, but also knew where I stood sometimes in the hierarchy of fighting. I've been in many, many fights, but I know when I am overmatched. And I've told the story about my terrifying roommate who literally was one of the scariest people that I've ever met. And we got in a confrontation.
Oh no.
And I could not back down and be a bitch. But I also knew that I stood zero chance in this fight.
Yeah.
None.
So what'd you do?
So, luckily, I did the
hold me back, bro.
I did the hold me back thing. And luckily there were some people that were there.
So what do you do? Just walk behind them?
No. So like you
George Brett did?
You have to delay long enough for other people to intervene and get in the way.
Oh, the filibuster.
The filibuster. You need the filibuster. But here's the thing.
Now, how do you do that?
Oh, it's easy. You just got to create some distance. Again,
we see this a lot in Major League Baseball, with the brawl.
Well,
when the guy charges the mound, the pitcher backs up or he throws a glove or
back
something.
Up, you create some distance and you
pretend like you're
it's like
sizing him up.
It's like a car crash. The longer it takes, the safer you are. And luckily that happened where there was intervention and then once people are in between you, then you can do we should have gone. When you know good and damn well you were going to get your ass kicked. If that doesn't work, I had the strategy, and the strategy was you just grab. You just grab.
Hold on for a while.
And you hold on and just hope. See, when you grab and close, the damage you can take is fairly minimal because there's no distance there to get punched.
It's like a bull at the rodeo.
Yes, you just hold on. And again, wait for the crowd to break it up, and if it doesn't, then you're dead. It's the only thing you can do. But what you can't do is go face to face and not have your hands up and be ready for the punch.
But wait, why was this guy coming after you?
Oh, we were in
I'm sure you had nothing to do with it.
We were in winter conditioning drills and he wasn't, he was just being a slappy. He wasn't doing anything. And so I was trying to do hey man, like
let's do this.
Let's do this.
Team leadership.
And he looked over at me and was like, dude, F you. And of course I was like, dude, F you back. And that's when I realized that things had changed. Yeah. And I've seen this look many a time and I've watched him murder people. Like he just was a terrifying individual. And at that point I had a choice to make. Either be a bitch or go into the patented prolong.
Well, your problem was the FU.
The problem was
you didn't need to come back with an FU.
No.
You needed to stand down at that point.
And the best part, I've told the story, the best part about it is once we were done and calmer heads had prevailed and I made sure that I went nowhere near him the rest of the workout. I went up to him afterwards. I was like, hey man, are we okay? And he was like, yeah. And he put his arm around me and he goes, were you scared? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And he goes, good. I would have kicked your ass. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, we know.
I had to acknowledge to him privately.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I run the risk of him being like, really?
Yeah.
You think? And then
that was smart
you had me?
And now there was no one around. Therefore, I would have had to take my ass kicking. And I didn't want to take an ass kicking.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, at that point, you're just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to know.
You made a mistake the first time.
Yeah.
The second time, you were smart.
Yes, you got to be aware of that. You got to be aware of where you're at, and that's my thing with Eubanks. He did everything right until he went face to face. No, back up, create distance, get some people in between, and for God's sakes, if the fists start flying, grab and hold on.
Well, I tell you, you've been under there when players arrive at the arena.
Yeah.
There oftentimes are not a lot of people around.
No.
Yeah,
And
it can be
that's-
pretty sparse down there.
And I'll tell you what, boys, that's scary when you realize there may not be people there.
It's like there's not a cavalry coming.
No,
Security guards aren't really there
I
yet.
hate to be the one to say this, but you may just have to be a bitch at that point and turn. You may just
And
have
run.
Well, it sounded like he was trying to be, and Beef Stew wouldn't
but
let him.
here's the thing.
You can't just walk away
No,
from that.
no.
Like you,
That's the thing is Eubanks could, but he would have lost face and he wasn't
Yeah.
willing to lose it.
yeah.
So you got-
it's a tough situation.
You got to make a determination. Do you want bloody lips and loose teeth, or do you want a safe face?
So Eubanks stated the blow landed in the center of his mouth, causing his gums to bleed. He added that my teeth definitely are like looser.
Yeah.
And they hurt. When pressed more about why he believes Stewart was so upset, Eubanks stated nothing out of the ordinary happened between the two in their previous matchup. Just basketball stuff. It was lowering your shoulder, trying to hit somebody for a box out, being physical, talking on the court. That's all it was.
Yeah.
At the time, Eubanks told cops he wished to prosecute, and Stewart was issued a citation. However, the report states that on February 17th, 3 days after the encounter, Eubanks called the cops and said he no longer wished to press charges.
Yeah.
He said he'd been thinking about the incident for a couple of days, and he was upset, but he had time to think it over, and cooler heads had prevailed.
Note to self, don't mess with Beef Stew.
Stewart still got suspended 3 games. Now, I wonder if they play again.
How that goes?
Yeah.
They probably don't because it's west and east.
Yeah. They play twice, right? They usually play once in their building.
But this
once
late in the season, the chances they'd have it again, probably not.
I gotta
but,
go look
oh,
that up just in case, but Eubanks, dude.
Don't go anywhere.
Eubanks will not play. If Detroit comes to Phoenix again, Eubanks will not play.
No.
He'll shut it down.
Yeah. I got a sore back. Again, this every
Yeah,
now
they
and
don't
then,
play.
Every now and then you come across that guy that is all about that action, and you don't want to mess with that guy. Again, go look up the video of Beef Stew going after LeBron James.
Oh, I remember that.
That
Irish beef stew.
That was not a hold me back sort of thing. That was I'm going to murder LeBron
No,
James.
he was serious about it. He had snapped, and it took about 8 people to keep him from killing
Yep.
LeBron.
And LeBron was scared.
Yeah. Look, we've all been there. Well, this is what I said. There's, we all think we're sharks until you actually encounter one. And then you got to make business decisions.
All right, up next. Did the tush push just take a blow? That's next on The Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
Have you seen a sports play more than Christian Leitner's game winner versus Kentucky? Yes or no? Dame's walk-off versus OKC for some has probably been seen a million times at this point. OBJ's one-hander, that one's pretty good. Leitner's has been around since 92. Somebody said the miracle on ice. It's not really a play, though. It's the end call.
Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on 1080 The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
Southbound I-5, just before going, we have an accident blocking up the right lane. Traffic is back.
All right, we know now the restaurant that will replace beaches on the Vancouver waterfront. I will tell you about that on In the News. I'm reporting on that as we speak.
Do I need to go for my second perfect day drinking award at this new establishment?
I would say probably.
You might. You might.
Challenge accepted.
I don't know.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Do I bring the old menu and my award into the new establishment and announce my presence with authority and be like, I'm here to do this?
No, they're not going to care. They don't. They want to wipe. Beaches is out. This is a new place. All right, we'll have that next. I mentioned the tease was, did the tush push just take a blow? Now, it sounds like the NFL is not going to do anything about the tush push.
No, they said that they don't want to punish Philadelphia for being good at something, and there's just no momentum for it.
Which I'm surprised there's no momentum for it, because you would think the other teams would be like, yeah, get rid of that thing.
Yeah, I know, because
it's really frustrating. Like if you bet against the Eagles, or your team is playing against the Eagles, that play is maddening.
Yeah, the only one that's ever stopped it is Vita Vea. But now that Jason Kelsey's gone, we'll be interested to see.
Well, that's what I was getting at, is that, everybody talks about how Jalen Hurts is the key to that.
Yeah, he squats like 600 pounds. He's like, he's not your normal quarterback.
But Jason Kelsey retiring, it's something not many people have talked about. What does that do to the tush push?
Yeah. I mean,
and we won't know until the season.
Because and this is ultimately why I think that the tush push isn't going anywhere for the other. Like, other teams stop it. It's really a unique Philadelphia thing, and it's hard to ban something when no one's really been hurt off of it, and only one team uses it to that sort of success.
You said other teams stop it?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The other teams don't have the success doing it that Philly does.
So they don't stop it.
Well,
he's saying is that it gets stopped when other teams do it.
That's what I'm not.
When other teams try to do it, it gets stopped.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
It's an effective play, but it is not the guaranteed success unless
Philly's doing it.
And so I think that was always the rub that a lot of NFL people had was, it'd be one thing, and I do think it would get banned. One, if someone got seriously hurt, like a quarterback or a center broke his neck, that would be a big deal, because it usually takes something catastrophic on the horse collar. The hip drop tackle is going to be the next to go, guaranteed. But we haven't had a catastrophic injury yet. Or if something like the kickoff has become guaranteed touchback. It's ceremonial, and it's going to change. If everyone ran the tush push at a 98% clip, they would get rid of it. But
what is
Philly's the only one that really runs it to this level.
Well, what is it that they do so well?
Everyone has tried to figure this out, and a lot of people do point to Kelsey being the best center in the game. Other people point to Jalen Hurts being a freak. Like, Jalen Hurts was a power lifter. He's probably the strongest quarterback to ever play. And so people talk about that, and he's not like real tall like Cam Newton, so he's a very compact sort of guy.
I thought he was tall.
No, Hurts isn't that tall. He's built more fire pluggy than a Cam Newton type.
What does Kelsey do when you watch Kelsey on that play? He goes low.
He just gets low, and then he's able to keep his feet driving.
Because I don't think Jason's like super big,
he's
right?
not a big guy either. He's pretty.
So he's stocky and he's tough, but he's not as tall. So that maybe helps him go.
Yep, and he's just able to kind of root people out. Like I said, the only one that really has stopped it is Vita Vea. And if you've ever seen Vita Vea, you know why he stops it, because you can't move him. He's
like a block.
He's a house.
He's maybe the most immovable force in all of the NFL. But yeah, the tush push isn't going anywhere, and I am interested to see, as Hurts gets older and a little more nicked up, and now no Jason Kelsey, I'll be interested to see if the tush push takes a step backwards.
Well, the good thing is Kelsey will certainly pass along his tutelage to the next guy.
Yes.
About what he does on that play.
But at the same time, it's just, that may be one of those unique things that you just can't teach.
Didn't the Chiefs stop it in their, not the Chiefs, not the Super Bowl. Who'd the Eagles just lose to?
In the playoffs? Didn't they get drilled by
the Bucks? Was it the Bucks?
Yeah, it was the Bucks, because Vita Vea stopped it.
That's right.
But I thought Vita Vea stopped it in the regular season.
He did.
They played in the regular season.
And then
he stopped it again in the playoffs.
Yeah, because people were like, hey, we figured out how to stop the tush push. Just get yourself a Vita Vea. If you can find one of those guys, apparently you can stop it.
So is Vita Vea so how old is Vita Vea now?
Oh, he's probably late 20s, early 30s. He's been around for a while.
So he's going to be...
He's 29.
that dude's he's gonna win another ring or two because he is going to hang on so long as just the tush-push stopper on someone's roster in the NFC.
I would love the idea that at the end of his career, someone just brings in Vita Vea for goal line situations.
I kind of feel like that wasn't Vince Wilfork doing a bunch of one-year deals at the end. It felt like people were trying to use him for that. Not that the tush push was a thing then.
Yeah, it's not as it's not as common to see those sorts of D tackles anymore. The game has changed a little bit, but there's always a place. If you're 340 and you can clog the middle and collapse the pocket, there's always a place. The one that I always remembered, when I was coming up, the game was not nearly as spread out, and it was still huddles. And go look up Ted Washington and Gilbert Brown sometime.
I was just gonna say I remember big Gilbert Brown with the visor for Green Bay. Was it
the Gravedigger?
Yeah.
Yep. And then look up Ted Washington, who played for Buffalo, and John Henderson was another one. There were some dudes. There were some dudes that were just. I don't know where they made them. It was in some sort of lab, and they broke a mold. Like Ted Washington was listed at 370. My ass, dude. That guy was $4 bills, and you couldn't move him. He wasn't the most dynamic guy in the world, but you couldn't move him. You put his ass in the middle of something, and there's nothing you can do about it. He's terrified.
Jason Kelsey did say that there was a rugby coach that the Eagles offensive line coach brought in a rugby guy.
Oh, there you go.
To help him with that play.
Because that's just it's all it is a rugby scrum.
And that's what Kelsey said. They asked Kelsey what makes that so special, what the Eagles do, and he said it's organized mass.
Yeah.
He said that's the whole thing. The guy just kept saying, and you can't stop it if it's organized properly. That's the deal. It's the more you coach it up and the more detailed it is, the more organized it is, and that's what makes it so difficult.
Makes sense.
So they're all on the same page.
Yeah, when you watch rugby scrums, they all lock arms and they get there, and you try to root each other out.
That's fascinating. I'm amazed that other teams can't do it even half as good as the Eagles.
And a lot of teams don't want to do it because the fear of getting someone, namely the quarterback, hurt.
Well, and the other thing too is because you talk about the coordination being important, people don't want to practice it because they don't want to get people hurt. So not try it in the game, but having everyone intentionally pile up like that to see if you can get it right on the practice field, not worth it to a lot of
I will
coaches.
tell you, there is nothing worse than goal line live practice. Of all the things you can do at practice, there is nothing that eats more Richard than.
Yeah, because you really got to go all out, right?
Yes.
And it's just you don't want to because it's practice.
And it's you just all it is getting stepped on and kicked and buried because there is no real. I mean, I guess there is in this case. There is a technique to it, but reality is everyone knows what's coming. You fire off 8 inches from the ground against another giant human that's 8 inches off the ground. So you ram heads into each other, so that hurts. And then immediately you go down to your knees and you start digging, which means that the person beside you starts doing it, and you get your hand stepped on, you get your ankle stepped on, and then the damn quarterback or running back that's coming over the top of you, he steps on you or kicks you in the goodies. And then by the end of it, you've got 9 different guys that lay on top of you. It's just awful. It's the dumbest thing in the world. So you're right. Who wants to do that in practice with guys that are making millions of dollars?
Well, why would you even? It's almost like why even practice that? That's just a.
Yeah, but
it's a play. You just got to nut up and.
I just think it's a unique group of guys in Philly that. I just don't think this is going to become a weapon for everyone in the NFL. I think it's pretty unique.
So you want the numbers?
Yeah.
Overall, the success rate of the tush push in Philly is 93.3%.
That's ridiculous.
Jalen Hurts is 93.1%. Marcus Mariota, 100%. And the team is also 100% on 4th and 1. They've never been stopped on 4th and 1 using the tush push.
Yeah. Well,
they're 91.6% on 3rd and 1.
Yeah, they do. I've seen it where they'll do it on 3rd and 3.
And
and it works.
And then they know that if they don't get it, they just do it again.
Do it again. If you're within 2 or 3 yards and you get 2 plays, you will not stop that.
Maddening.
Yeah. The other thing too that's a little funky that I know some teams it's hard to snap the ball when you're that low. As a center, that's another thing that Kelsey does is he doesn't there's no fumble exchange. When you're down and everyone knows what's coming like that, snapping that ball and making sure there's ball security, it's harder than you think.
Hey, I have a final. How many do you think Pacific lost by? What do you guys think?
I'm going to say they were making a comeback. I'm going to go 46.
I unfortunately saw this when it was close to the end, so I'm no good here.
Well, guys, they lost by 59. So they outdid the Lady Ducks.
Yeah, they did.
The final score, West Coast Conference Tournament. This is men. Pepperdine, 102. Pacific, 43.
That one stings. So you go 0 for 16 in conference play, and you lose by damn near 60. Can we make the case that that's the worst season in conference history of any conference?
Oh, I mean, they won 6 games. I'm sure there are some winless.
Not a single conference game.
No,
and
but
then they lost by 59 in the conference tournament.
How many winless teams? I got to do some homework on this. I'm guessing wasn't there a team the other night that won for the first time? Didn't you see that?
It's possible.
Some small college
Yeah,
team?
they stormed the court.
High Point or something?
It was Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah.
The
they were 0-25 or something?
Uh-huh.
Did they lose by 60 in their conference tournament?
Well, they probably will.
They probably did.
By the way, I looked up the Footprint Center. Footprint is a company looking to eliminate single-use waste.
Oh, okay.
So cups.
I should have known.
So
that.
kind of like a climate pledge situation.
There you go.
All right. Where will Jason win his day drinking award now?
Coming for you, new restaurant.
That news is next. Here's Buck.
conference. They won 6 games overall, but they lost by, what did they lose by in the tournament? 59? 59?
I think.
That hurts.
Something like that. But I've got 2 seasons, and I can't remember, or I can't believe I didn't remember Prairie View A&M.
Yeah,
that's a famous one.
This keeps popping up.
Well, they went 0-28, dude. They got outscored. This was in 1991-92. 0-28. They were outscored by an average of 99-65.
That hurts. They did lose to Central Michigan 115-55.
Yes.
And they lost to Tulane 120-54.
Yes.
And
you also have
that hurts.
The 2004-2005 Savannah State team that also went 0-28 and was outscored 81-58.
So if you're Pacific, I
think you got to feel good. You probably don't even crack the top 10.
Feeling pretty good.
Worst seasons of all time.
There's 6 big wins.
March 7, 2024. Time now for In the News. I am your noted newsman. Hello.
Ahoy!
Today is National Cereal Day.
Oh, don't eat a lot of cereal, but
I can't remember the last time I ate cereal.
No, it's a kid's food, but
that's right.
It is delicious. Like sometimes on vacation, like we go to the beach or whatever, I'll get a box of Fruity Pebbles, and I'll eat that in an entire city.
You mean like when the hotel has like the little personal size ones?
Yeah, something like that, right?
My wife has a bowl of Cheerios 2 or 3 times a week.
You know what's terrible is that, like sometimes you stay in crappy hotels. It's just a fact of life.
It happens. Again, the coast.
Yeah.
There's a Shiloh Inn with your name on it.
I will eat, you go into you're like, oh, it has breakfast. And you're always excited by that. But you know exactly how awful it's going to be.
Yep.
And then you go in there and you look at all the crap and you're like, oh my God. I always still eat the worst things.
Really?
Like you would think cereal would be safe.
Yeah. You choose whatever
or a
sort
bagel.
Of microwave bacon.
Yes, I'm always going for the hot food.
They have powdered eggs, and we all know what that bacon is, and I don't know where it comes from. I don't think it comes from a pig. It's like genetically engineered. It's the thinnest piece of bacon, and it's covered in some sort of slime. I don't know. It all looks the same.
Well, to me, the weird stuff is the sausage.
Yeah, because we all know what that sausage looks like too. I think that's rat ass is what that is. And that's what you eat as opposed to like a box of, I always just do like a box of Raisin Bran.
I do. No, I'm out on cereal. I think it's...
And then maybe like a bagel, or they'll have like a Yoplait yogurt or something. Yeah. I cannot do the hot bar. I just stare at that thing and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
I love it. I'm a hot bar fanatic. It is also World Book Day.
Oh, there you go.
So read a book out there.
Can I listen to them?
Yeah.
I just
do whatever the hell you want.
Well, I like the books, but I've become a book on tape guy. I just finished Tarantino's book on cinema.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good?
Well, if you don't like movies, if you're not a movie aficionado, and like that's like it really, you'll be bored to tears. But if he takes like his top, God, I don't know how many, it's like 10 or 15 of like his quintessential films from the 70s when he was growing up, and he breaks them all down, why they were great, what inspired them, what came after them. And they're not like, they're like the Texas Chainsaw Massacres in there, and Bullet, and movies that like I grew up loving. So like I like movies. It's well done, but you really it's a niche sort of thing.
Yeah, he's very niche.
Yes, he is.
The restaurant that will replace beaches on the Vancouver waterfront, we now know.
What do we got?
Is.
Better not be a McMiniman's. Wait, there's already one right next door.
Oswego Grill.
Oh! What? How can we have Oswego Grill in Vancouver?
Well,
it's a little weird.
You can maybe take that fight to them. I don't know.
Is it going to be the Vancouver Grill?
Oswego Grill. I think they have a couple of spots in Oregon. One in Lake Oswego.
Yeah,
there's one in Beaverton too.
I've only been to the Oswego Grill, or I can't say that.
Oswego Grill.
The Grill. I've been there once, and I remember it being.
It's fine.
Decent.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's a higher end TGI McScratchies.
Yeah, it's like what's it akin to? I don't know. They're saying spring summer of 2025.
So I said it's a better version of the standard.
It's like Stanford's.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
I like that. Stanford's.
Yeah, it's like that.
So I just want the Oswego Grill to know that I'm coming for your drink menu. I'm coming for my second perfect day drinking award.
Of course, Beaches is where Suk bellied up one day and was handed the perfect day drinking award. He threw a perfect game.
Yeah.
Out there. Had every drink on the menu.
+1. And then they gave me a bag of popcorn, and then I passed out or took a nap underneath the tree. And I appreciate that, by the way, for not, they knew at some point they knew what I was going for. And I think lesser places would have said no. But I think they wanted to see what was up, and I appreciate that.
Well, we'll find out what the Oswego Grill is made of.
They better not be uptight and stuffy about it. It's ridiculous.
An Alaska Airlines flight has had to make an emergency landing at Portland International Airport again.
I'm sure you're not happy about this.
Well, this one was headed from Portland to Phoenix. Shortly after takeoff, okay, so they hadn't been in the air that long.
Yeah.
They smell an odor.
Can't have the odors.
Fumes. Port of Portland called it fumes.
Oh no, oh no.
This was detected on board. The crew declared an emergency and the plane returned to Portland.
Are they going to say what kind of fumes they were?
Seven, including passengers and crew members, 7 people requested medical evaluation.
Oh.
However, no one was transported for medical care. Passengers who exited the plane were able to catch another flight down to Phoenix.
Are they still going to tell us what the fumes were?
They are investigating the cause of the smell, but they did not find anything. Alaska Airlines maintenance is now inspecting the aircraft. And they, of course, apologize for the inconvenience.
That could be so many different things.
It sure could.
Well, was it like ass fumes? Was it plane fumes? Like, what is...
I don't know. I'm torn on this one. I see the emergency. I get it. I get why you can't take any chances, right?
No.
Turn it around. Let's get back to Portland. At the same time,
what if it's what if it's like gas? Like, what if you smell?
That's why I'm saying that I think they probably did the right thing.
If you smell propane, that's like one of the more terrifying smells you can have. You're like, ooh, natural gas. That's. And by the way, don't they add the rotten smell to the natural gas?
That's true. Yes. It would be odorless. They put it in there so that you detect gas leaks.
Yeah. Well, good for them. Although it's kind of weird that they never found anything.
Yeah, by the way, we have listeners everywhere telling us on the YouTube comments that Oswego Grill was started by the people who worked at Stanford's.
Okay, I can see that. There's a lot of similarities.
There's a lot of lineage there.
Yeah.
So it's just is it a cheap knockoff or is it an expensive knockoff?
I think it's about the same.
I think it's a similar
lateral.
Hey, Oswego Grill, you know who loved Oswego Grill, had his own table there.
Huh.
You couldn't sit there. He had a reserved table at Oswego Grill, the one in Lake O.
Yeah.
Bill Shonley.
Right the hell out of town.
And his wife, yes. They would go in there all the time.
I always pictured him as more of like a Clyde sort of man.
Well, he lives over in South, or did live in Southwest.
Yeah.
He didn't live over by Clyde's.
I could see him sitting down like at a place like that. Mr. Shonley, like there's like a rope. The Larry David, his booth is roped off. It's a bold move going with the rope off.
All right, up next, the Vancouver mayor hates the newest I-5 bridge renderings. I don't know if you've seen them.
Oh, boy.
Have you seen them?
No, I have not.
Yeah, they're less than, be the word, inspiring.
Okay.
And they're just not, I don't know. It's like, that's it? This is what we're fighting over?
Sounds less than inspiring.
For billions of dollars?
Well, the Vancouver mayor hates them. That's next on The Fan.
This is The Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories, brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
Zolu missing that layup. Malik Moore with a full head of steam, and he finds a
Jai. I don't know. I think Buck found a Pepperdine highlight. They beat Pacific
That's
by
exactly
9.
what that is.
Wow.
Can you imagine like having to polish that turd if you're the Pepperdine or the Pacific play-by-play guy?
Yeah, your exit meetings for the season aren't probably going very well.
No.
The Fan's Window into Sports is brought to you by Window Nation. Buy 2 windows now, get 2 free. They call her Big Ern.
Big Ern McCracken. She's got a haircut of a lady that's going to give you problems.
She hates him. So they put out the renderings of the new I-5 bridge.
Yeah, they're not that impressive.
They're really not, but what do we expect? It's a bridge.
It's a bridge.
It's not like ballpark renderings.
Did she just want like... And by the way, this thing's going to cost like $7 billion as it is. Did she want to spend like an extra $3 billion and like spruce it up? This is a bridge.
So they had a meeting where she was in there and all the people that are doing the renderings, whoever they are, there's like 6 options, okay? Yeah. One has concrete girders, one has steel girders, 2 have decks held up by cables. There's a 2-level stacked version similar to the Columbia River Crossing design, freeway on top, and then bike pedestrian below.
And they got light rail.
And then you have the movable span bridge, which is like the current bridge. So there's all these different options, and you scroll through all the pictures, and it's like, meh. And she says, her quote was, "Are you showing us the really ugly stuff so we don't get our hopes up?" That's what Big Ern said.
I mean,
What?
I don't know. I mean, I guess.
So she wants a little more pizzazz.
She wants a little something.
She wants a little more flash.
I guess there is like the Golden Gate Bridge, like it's iconic, but you know, how about this? Can you just bring it in under budget, and does it really matter what exactly it looks like?
I guess
bridge.
I guess to Big Ern that.
Yeah,
she's not seeing it that way.
Yeah,
she wants some.
She wants a little razzle dazzle. I mean, I don't know. If you showed me these and you're like, "Hey, this is the I-5 bridge," my response would have been like, "Yeah,
all right, get it done."
Yeah, just build the damn thing.
The project team expects to select a final design later this year before the release of the final supplemental environmental impact statement. That's the big thing they got to do next. Environmental impact statement.
I just like how it originally, so they spent it was like $100 million, and then they scrapped it. They were like, nothing we can do. And then it went away for a number of years, and then it came back, and they said it was going to cost between like $2 and $3 billion. And now, if I'm not mistaken, for seemingly reasons that I can't figure out, it's now going to cost, I think, between $6 and $7 billion. And now, obviously, the money has changed, but I believe it will be the largest government-funded project like this of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Inflation, baby.
Inflation. But still, it just...
I love that.
I want to know how it went from 3 to like 7 billion.
Look, they need to get it done. Now, in fairness to the program officials who are designing the thing, they are waiting to fully design all the aesthetics until a single configuration is selected. That's what they said. They said, well, it's a little bland right now, Big Ern, because there's 6 options.
That is, yeah.
So
there's a lot of options.
So maybe it will look sexy by the time they pick one.
Yeah, this is from Coin back in 2022. I-5 replacement bridge now costs $6 billion with luck.
With luck.
Yeah. It went from 2.5 to now 6. Fingers crossed.
Well, get started on it because in 10 years it's going to be 12. You know what I'm saying, man? It's like locking up your quarterback early.
Exactly.
Go.
Do it. Do it now.
The faster you go, the more money you're saving.
Yes.
By the way, they want it done by 2035, and they say that the current structure, this is the I-5 bridge there connecting Vancouver to Portland and Portland to Vancouver.
Yeah.
They say it is likely to collapse during a major earthquake.
Well, it's the worst bridge.
So you have that going.
It's just so ridiculous. Although, to be fair, as someone says in the Vancouver Ford text line, for $7 billion, she hoped for more. She hoped for more. You would think for $7 billion, you get a little more.
To be fair, it's not the final. Pick one.
Yeah.
And then they'll put out something sexy.
Can I tell you the best looking bridge in the area for you?
St. John's.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Great bridge.
Go knock that thing off. The St. John's Bridge is gorgeous. Just take that thing and bastardize it, throw it across the I-5.
Make a couple tweaks, call it good.
Yeah. Someone will be like, oh, that looks like the St. John Bridge. Yeah, it's great looking.
We actually drew inspiration from that because it's such a great bridge.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be unique. Take that damn thing. Looks amazing. And by the way, the Glenn Jackson Bridge is boring as hell. But, oh.
I think that's kind of cool.
The Glenn Jackson Bridge?
Is that the one over here by us?
It's the 205 Bridge.
Oh, over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
the most boring bridge. It's just, I don't know. But you know what it does? It gets me across the damn river.
I think it's pretty rad when you're flying over it. It's kind of like...
There's nothing to it, though. There's no...
Well...
It's all meat and potatoes. There's no substance.
Well, what do you want? Like...
Well, nothing. That's what I'm saying. What's wrong with it?
Nothing. I like it.
So, but if you just build me the new bridge. I don't care that it's not super fancy. The Glenn Jackson Bridge is not fancy. Like I said, it's meat and potatoes. There's no sizzle to it, and it's fine. It works.
What are we in the shadows of here? Which one
That's
is?
the 405.
Yeah, what do they call it, though?
That is the Fremont
Bridge. Yeah, that one looks kind of cool.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Way up there.
Yeah.
You know,
With the little,
big high thing.
yeah, legit.
All right, well, we're no bridge designers. We'll leave it to the experts, okay?
We should be bridge designers for $7 billion.
That's in the news, March 7, 2024. The Hot 5 at 5 is next. The Pac-12 women's basketball tournament quarterfinals are happening. We have round 1 at Bay Hill and some other cool stuff. Oh, big boxing news today. Or is it? Next on The Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Hey, we have a Ducks baseball update from Buck. Buck, go.
That's right. The Ducks today beat Grand Canyon University 13-5. They banged out 21 hits most of the season so far.
I love that.
Yikes. And then they play, so they were down already in Arizona. They have 3 at the Sun Devils this weekend.
Are they good? They're probably good.
Better than Grand Canyon, I think.
I'm going to expect them to be good.
I think historically they have been. Barry Bonds went there.
It's warm weather. We assume Arizona's good at outdoor sports.
Mods PDX, the future of building is here.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate
fan.
All right. Welcome back. Hope you guys are having a nice, juicy, buttery little Thursday. It's Rob, that's me. Big Sook's right over there.
Right here.
Finally, some nice weather today. I know. A little chilly, but sunny.
It's crisp.
Crisp, you're right.
Like a good crisp. I guess it's not. When does spring officially start?
I think 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
We talk about this,
Right
the
around the
spring
corner.
equinox or whatever they call
Let's
it.
go.
Whatever that thing's called there.
I'm just happy I saw some damn sun today.
Excuse me. Ryan Buckley is here, guys. We are only with you for another 25 minutes as we must turn it over to Duck basketball.
We are mere filler until the brush.
Hey, big game tonight. Ducks playing Colorado.
Yeah.
The 3 seed in the Pac-12 tournament could be on the line here.
That's correct.
Yeah, they can go anywhere from 3 to...
They go from 3 to 6 or 7,
I
even?
think. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You don't want to be 6.
No. Well, and Oregon's got to start building the resume,
Well, they have to win the tournament. They have to win the Pac-12
You
tournament.
think they have to win the Pac-12
Yes.
to get in?
They will now have to win
Yes.
the tournament, I think.
Okay.
They got beat by 20 by Arizona.
It's not good.
They needed to win that Arizona game, and they got housed. Although I did see a thing today that was talking about, or it was a graph that showed percentage of starts missed due to injury.
I'm guessing Oregon.
Oh my
is-
God!
They've got to be sky high.
They were at the outlier of all outliers on that grid.
Yeah.
I mean they have been hit harder than anybody in college basketball by a mile.
There was a stretch this year where they only had 8 healthy guys, period, to play an entire game.
Yeah. Well, remember, old Mookie there. He started it on with an injury, and then he kind of came back for a little bit, and then he was out, and it just feels like it's just been one of those snake bitten years.
And bros, never count out my friend Dana Altman.
No,
Midwestern girl dad. He'll win that Pac-12 tournament. You watch
Done it a
out.
couple times.
You watch out. He'll do it. All right. Well, let's get to the Hot 5.
Sports.
At
Hot
5.
topics, hot opinions,
Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
and hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victor Rico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Online at victorricos.com. Number 5.
Oh, yes. Number 5. Well, it's round 1 at Bay Hill. You want some golf scores?
Not really, but give them to me anyways.
It's the Arnold Palmer Invitational. A lot of good players playing out there.
Waiting for the scores.
Well, I'm waiting for the scores,
Saw
too.
a cool highlight the other day of Arnie going driver off the deck at Bay Hill.
Well, he's dead.
The ghost of Arnold Palmer going off the deck?
He was going driver off the deck at Bay Hill. It was an old classic highlight.
Shane Lowry -6. Some guy named Lauer, 5 under.
Dead.
Hideki Matsuyama, also 5 under. Now, the real story here
my guy.
is Scotty Scheffler ranked first in strokes gained, tee to green, strokes gained approach, greens, birdie average, first in everything. But he was 144th in putting.
Ooh.
Again?
So he switched putters, and he has shot a 2 under. He is tied for 18th. He is 4th in this tournament in strokes gained, tee to green. He is 61st in putting.
So crappy, but not as crappy.
Market improvement.
Slight improvement,
Yeah.
market improvement,
Number
however you want
4.
to describe that. Keep an eye on his new mallet putter he's got out there. The Pac-12 women's basketball tournament quarterfinals, guys. It was a wild one. Oregon State beat Colorado in double overtime.
Yeah, Ms. Beers had a big old game. She had, 27 and 15?
Yeah, it was a great game. They were down much of the game, Oregon State, but they came back and won.
Now it sets up the rematch. I believe in the next round we get Stanford in the Beavs, right?
The final was 85-79. Yeah, Stanford beat Cal 71-57. And then we've got Arizona USC later and Utah UCLA later. Now, for the men, as I mentioned, Oregon's game is actually big tonight for them. They host Colorado. Winner has the inside track to the 3 seed in the Pac-12 tournament. Washington State hosts Washington. Now, Wazoo has to win that game to stay alive for the league title. But Arizona can clinch if they win at UCLA tonight and the Cougs lose.
And yes, I wanted to double check that. We do get a rematch of what was the game that decided the regular season conference championship. Stanford and Oregon State will go down 5 o'clock tomorrow on the Pac-12 network.
Really?
Yeah.
That's where that game's going to air?
Yeah.
I don't have the Pac-12 network.
No one has it.
Pac-12 doesn't even exist. How does it have a network?
Have you seen the talk of they're going to keep the Pac-12 network going next year? Have you seen what they're doing?
No.
We should talk about that sometime because they are not shutting that thing down.
Let's talk about it next. Why would they not shut it down?
They said it's an asset.
Who's winning? What is occurring? The Broncos continue an offseason purge. They cut safety Justin Simmons after 8 seasons. He was the longest tenured Bronco.
And one of the best safeties in the league. He was second-team All-Pro last year. It's just a cost-saving measure, and they're trimming the vines here. They're gonna tear it down and then try to rebuild it.
Former Denver quarterback Russell Wilson set to meet with the Steelers ahead of free agency. The Saints keep cornerback Tyrann Mathieu. He re-signs for 2 years, $13 million. And the Bears lock up star corner Jalen Johnson, 4 years, $76 million.
There was some talk that maybe they weren't going to get that done, but 24-year-olds, one of the best corners, got paid.
Number 2.
July 20th on Netflix, Jake Paul will box Mike Tyson. The fight will be at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. Paul is 27 years old. Mike Tyson, 57.
He'll be 58 when they fight.
Yet to be determined if this will actually be a pro fight or an exhibition. Tyson has not fought professionally in 20 years. Other news, Fox has announced that it will air Friday night college football games this season, including key matchups from the Big Ten, Big 12, and Mountain West.
A lot of people are pretty upset about this because Friday night has always been reserved for high school football. And, a lot of people think
I told you it was a matter of time before they stomp on high school football.
Yeah, a lot of people think this is the beginning of the end. And, especially in small towns down south, they're not thrilled about this. Just like
the beginning of the end of what? High school football will still go on.
No, but just the idea that it was special and unique and Friday night and being held for those small communities and parents and this because once you start down that road, everyone's going to be playing on Friday night. Let's do it. That makes people sad, like me sad that Mike Tyson's fighting at 58.
Number one.
Yeah, but I kind of like it. I want him to knock Jake Paul into next week.
You're 58. You shouldn't be fighting professionally. Did you watch the Roy Jones one?
No. Oh, God.
It is sad.
I won't watch this one. But I do want to see Jake Paul's bloody face.
Oh.
That will make me happy.
I hope so, but I think that's what everyone's hoping for. I'll be interested to see if anyone actually, at least it's not on pay-per-view, because they've been handing out tickets to his fights. No one wants to go to those things.
Big blow to the number 1 seed in the West. At least as of now, the number 1 seed in the West, the Minnesota Timberwolves, as Karl Anthony Towns has torn a meniscus in his knee. He is out indefinitely.
A la Joel Embiid, and they're saying that they're going to evaluate it and see if there's a rehab option, more than likely a surgery.
That's brutal.
And, that is a big deal for Minnesota.
Remember Ben Simmons?
I do.
Yeah, he's out for the season.
Yeah, only barely because he still really never plays, and he's never going to again.
Yeah, he's got that nerve impingement in his lower back, so he played just 15 games. The Nets are shutting him down. And we do get Celtics Nuggets tonight. If you want something to watch on TV,
right.
It'll be on TNT at 7.
Arguably the 2 best teams in the league. And a lot of people think this is the preview of the finals.
Good little matchup.
I will sit down and watch this one tonight.
Good little matchup.
And, if you look at Simmons and, the games played, boy, it is.
Yeah, it's sickening.
It is brutal how far he has fallen off.
Dude. Victorico's Mexican Food brings you the Hot 5 at 5, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Order now at victoricos.com. I'm going to go ahead and slide this Pac-12 story to the front of the line. I had no idea the Pac-12 is continuing on.
Yeah, well,
or the Pac-12 network, sorry.
Yep.
I want to hear about this next on The Fan.
It's time for Who's Leading the Charge? A look under the hood at the coaches, players, and teams getting it done. Brought to you by Battery Exchange.
Soto next to him. Oh, right up the middle. That's a base hit. That's rocked by Polanco. Crawford being waved in. He's going to score. Mariners on the board first, 1-0.
Newest Mariner, Jorge Polanco. Mm-hmm. They won again.
It's actually a decent addition for the Mariners.
Don't call it a streak. They've won 2 in a row. It's going to continue?
Yeah, they said for at least a year they're going to continue it.
Well, what the hell are they going to air?
Well, here's the weird part. So they said they're going to continue all the studio shows for the Beavs and the Cougs, and they'll air whatever games they can for those two schools. I also saw that contractually they're obligated to produce like 300 and something Olympic sports, and there's not enough to fill the contracts. There's not enough Olympic sports from the two remaining teams to fill the obligation.
Well, yeah, like what are they going to?
So was it Gould, the Teresa Gould or whatever, who's the commissioner? When someone asked her that question, she said, "Well, we're working through that right now. Certainly, finding enough programming is going to be problematic." So it sounds like they may have to try to skirt some of the technicalities here and just run old Olympic sports. You could be getting Cougs and Beavs gymnastic and like rowing from years ago that could be running on.
You're kidding.
No, they have to produce in order to be on it and meet the contracts and still get paid. They still have to produce a certain amount of programming, but the Beavs and the Cougs don't have enough programming for them to fill that. So no one's really sure what they're going to do, but I guess all options are on the table, and they're saying for at least this next coming year, the 2024-25 academic calendar year, the Pac-12 network will be live.
Boy, that's very Pac-12-y, isn't it?
It's the most Pac-12-y thing of all time. Like, you don't have a Pac-12, but you're going to have a Pac-12 network? Hey, you have to give us so many games. Well, that's fine. We still have Ducks and or we have the Beavers and Cougs. Yeah, they don't have enough games. It's fine. We'll work it out. Can you imagine tuning into that and getting like a 6-year-old, I don't know, a volleyball match?
Well, I guess you could probably fool some people. Like, no one watches that stuff anyway, so people can be like, wow, did you guys see that big Oregon State win? What are you talking about, Rob? Well, the volleyball.
Yeah, they were playing Cal. What? No, they played the big. No, they just played. I just saw it.
Yeah, I was just watching it.
I mean, you thought no one watched the Pac-12 network before. Imagine what they're going to do now.
But why do they think that's an asset? Like,
what? This is a direct quote from the new commissioner. She says, "We think it's a really valuable asset."
Well, I mean, you did dump all that money into it to create it.
Yeah.
So, I guess I don't know. It is advertising, even if it's minimal. It's a revenue stream.
Yeah, she says the commitment,
especially if you run lean and mean.
She said the commitment that's been made so far and the decision that's been made by our board. I love how they say our board. 2 people is to continue to operate the studio and the facility that we have in Bishop Ranch and San Ramon for at least the next year. So
that's really weird.
But she could not detail what, like I said, I saw this. It was an interview with the commissioner. She couldn't detail, though, which Washington State or Oregon State sports would be featured on the network. They don't even know. So it's absolutely bizarre at this point. You're running a network. You don't have enough programming to fill the network, and you can't even tell us what programming is going to be on that featuring Oregon State and Washington State.
Huh. Okay, well.
But she's claiming that I think the idea is that she went on to talk about how it's a state-of-the-art facility, and I think this is the idea. If they keep this up and running, that maybe someone will come and try to rescue them.
Yeah.
A lifeline, or that when you eventually do merge with the Mountain West, you still have the facility. I don't know why you can't just go dark for the next year or two and then, bring it back up. I don't know, but
Vancouver, yeah, no kidding, right? Just shut her down.
Yep.
With the idea that you've got equipment to fire it back up if something cool happens.
She said you
join the ACC.
She said certainly will be a tough task, as there will have to be a lot of content that is going to need to be created and produced to support Oregon State and Washington State. They have events that need to be showcased and events that we want to support. So honestly, anything, and I mean anything, that features Oregon State or Washington State will be on this network.
Do any of those networks, ACC, SEC? I don't even know if the Big 12 has one. Does it?
Yeah, the Big 12 has one.
Big 12 network?
Mm-hmm. I think they have one, because that was the thing. Like, Texas has their own. So I would.
I thought the Longhorn network went away, though.
Yeah, the Longhorn network went away.
Do those networks work? Does the SEC network work? Because I feel like that even sucks.
Well, they're there.
Well, I I know it's there. I'm asking, has it been a worthwhile endeavor?
I'm not sure that any sports channel that doesn't have enough programming to run stuff 24 hours a day is anymore. I mean, we've been hearing all about the death of the regional sports network. I think largely some of these conference ones are the same way, where if you've got games on, great, but if you've got low-tier games or no games, you're not making any money.
Yeah, I'd like to see the numbers on the SEC network.
Yeah, I don't know, because you don't get and the problem is you don't get the big games. There's really there's really just isn't
you
a
get
lot
fourth and
there.
fifth pick usually.
Yeah, and the even the Longhorn network, that thing was a disaster. That thing lost money hand over fist. That was a terrible deal.
Nice try, Texas.
Yeah.
Any people gave a crap about your volleyball team?
Yeah, and so the Big 12 network, it's a Big 12 plus, and it's just streamed through other network, but it doesn't have its own standalone. Like the ACC and the SEC and the Big 10 and the Pac-12 all had their own dedicated studio, all that. The Big 12 is not. It's not on a regular channel the way the other ones are.
Yeah, see, they were smart. They knew it wasn't going to...
Yeah, ESPN just farms it out, and then they have their studio shows like on ESPN+.
I don't even know. Is there a Big 10 network? I think there is. I have that.
There's a Big 10 network.
That shows up on my...
Yeah, back when I had cable, unfortunately, I watched a lot of like Purdue football because those were the games that were on earlier than everything else. You could watch ACC and Big 10 football, and the Big 10 network was by far the one that was the easiest to find.
So just looking through it, I feel like they sort of hide the SEC network into their big lump revenue, you know? And so there's really no way to tell how it's doing on its own.
Yeah. But I remember ESPN gave Texas all that money. I think it was like an extra like 12, I don't know. It was a significant chunk of money that they gave Texas, and it just lost money every single